All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our meeting for March 18th, 2019. This is our State of the City address. I apologize that we're starting a couple of minutes late, but we have quite a crowd outside that is actively socializing as we speak. City Clerk, could you please call roll?
Councilmember Aguirre.
Here.
Councilmember Borgens.
Here.
Councilmember Hale.
Here.
Councilmember Mazer.
Somebody give
Here.
it to us.
Councilmember Reddy.
Here.
Vice Mayor Howard.
Here.
And Mayor Bain.
Here. Okay, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me as we honor our flag and our country.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor Howard. Before we begin the State of the City, we will have public comment, and I have two speakers' cards. First speaker is Brian Jaffe, followed by Allison Madden.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council, City staff, and members of the public. My name is Brian Jaffe, and I'm the creator of VOCA. And I am very pleased to be speaking before you this evening on the night of the State of the City address. My topic is one you're probably tired of hearing about, but it is also foundational to everything that you do in this room, and that is City Council district elections. First off, I would like to acknowledge the immense effort you and city staff put into creating our newly adopted City Council districts. I attended many of your meetings and watched others from home, but you were here for all of them, along with many discussions I'm sure I'm not even aware of. You took on a very difficult task, and it was not one of your choosing, and I believe you did your best. With that said, both by your 4-3 final vote and the comments by at least two of you that you'd prefer using a citizen commission to draw the next map after the 2020 census, it is clear that this year's map drawing process was not without controversy. With that background, VOCA asked residents this week to rate on a 1 to 5 scale how much they support having a citizen commission draw the next district maps after 2020. Of the nearly 500 responses, residents support the idea by a 6-to-1 margin. I have given you all packets with the full results, including 92 comments, which I encourage you to read in full. But in the interest of time, I will just read one comment that I feel most succinctly captures the majority point of view. Voters should choose their representatives, not the other way around. Please consider directing city staff to make plans now, while the complexity of this process is still fresh in their memories, for a citizen commission to draw the next round of city council districts after the 2020 census. Thank you, and I look forward to the address.
Thank you. Allison Madden.
Good evening. I'm here to speak about the housing situation in the state of the city. And there's so much good in the city, but I really think that we need to focus on the housing. And last week there was a rally outside over economic evictions, and I'm defending a dozen evictions at Docktown. Right now they're before the California Supreme Court on a petition for review. It's something called the Delta motion. It's been in front of them for 2 months, and we don't know yet if they're going to decide to hear it. If so, it's one of the most important landlord-tenant cases in a couple decades. It's a procedural issue, but it affects the daily flow of landlord-tenant cases. And if the Supreme Court doesn't hear it or doesn't remand it to the appellate court, then we'll have a trial over jurisdiction. And I think it's ideal to dismiss these evictions. It's one thing to have evictions in the city, and it's quite another to have them by the city. And right now, down at Docktown, we're allowed to have 10%. All of the marinas, West Point, Municipal, Redwood Landing, can have 10%. The other three that are inward of Smith Slough can have 100%. And right now, we need the safety and security element. The docks are unlocked, which is great. This whole thing has been about public access. And we are cooperating with the DPW and the PD every day on safety and security. We could be like Seattle, I was London, Paris, Amsterdam, and Redwood City, in having a cute little, floating marina there that is not residential, but is operated on a commercial basis, which is allowed on the public trust, so to have Airbnb there. Right now, as you've heard from people, you have people living and dying in parks and cars, and you heard people come here talk to you about the man that died in his car over in a park in Redwood City. I understand there's a charter provision allowing the mayor to declare an emergency, a state of emergency. I believe that's probably not just a natural disaster, but you should consider a moratorium on building until this is worked out. And very specifically, I think that you should look for areas where you can buy little pieces of land and where you have them and have, the little tiny houses. And I can also say that we've had the DPW give us a facility, for restroom and showers at Docktown while the construction's going on. And a lot of people are coming over and asking to use it. A lot of people are out there living in cars and RVs, and they're desperate. They don't have access to facilities. And there's only so many people that can use that because it gets full and it gets dirty. And, we have to kind of keep the code, for access. But I think that you should consider getting the people that are out there living in tents, RVs, and parks some facilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Nina Peshke-Cote.
Good evening. Hi, everybody. My name's Nina Peshke-Cote. I also am a resident of Docktown Marina here in Redwood City, and I've been a resident of Redwood City for about almost 12 years. I grew up on the peninsula, but little by little I was unable to do the job that I do, which is tutor kids with learning difficulties and elder care. I'm a caregiver for people with memory issues and just being ill. And I fell into these jobs after doing lots of other stuff, and I love it, and it seems like that's what I'm really good at, but I don't make enough money to live here in the Bay Area, most places, and I found this amazing way to do it by visiting Docktown and seeing the boats and the beautiful homes there, and I was able to purchase a boat, an old houseboat, and live there. And as you know, we've been evicted and there's development, and I understand that things change and things get more expensive, but it seems like this, well, first off, like Allison said, the 10% thing is totally legal. We're already there. We're the ones that didn't really get dealt with the way the California Relocation Act wants us to be dealt with. We didn't get offered what we were supposed to be, so we're still there and trying to figure out what to do and would love to stay. We're a charming community, and we're stewards of the Redwood Creek. You guys should see how much trash in the storms came through there from all the gutters in the city, and we pick it up as much as we can, and we've had 2 cleanups recently. Anyway, I just wanted to quickly say, if it's quickly enough, that not only are we being sort of run out, it's just a little community and neighborhood, but I ran into a couple people recently that lived in neighborhoods as well, where they knew each other, took care of each other. I spent about an hour with Ray, a tow truck driver, wonderful guy, brought his kids to the Redwood City parks, loved Redwood City, has lived here most of his life, and then, moved into a small house when he had his own family, and he lives in Sacramento now. I said, "Oh, why'd you move there? You come all the way here for work?" And he goes, "They tripled my rent. I had to move to Sacramento." And so he works in Redwood City, but has to live in Sacramento. And such a colorful, wonderful guy. That's what I mean, is there's colorful, delightful people. There was a waitress I spent time with waiting at the DMV, and she also grew up here, and she does theater and music and works here right in Redwood City and loves it. And she had to move to Petaluma. Those are wonderful places, Sacramento and Petaluma. I'm just saying, it would be nice if the people who work here and give to the community could also afford to live here. And just at the tail end of that, the evictions at Docktown can be stopped. It's not that big a deal. I mean, we've narrowed it down to a point where, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Cope. Okay, we're going to begin our State of the City address, and I'd like to start by recognizing some of the dignitaries who are here today, and hopefully I have captured everybody. I've tried to look for people in the audience. I'd like to start with Alexandra Carter from Jackie Spear's office, Congressmember Jackie Spear. There she is, thank you. I know that Mario Rendon from Kevin Mullen's office is here. Mario, thank you. And Joan Dentler from Senator Jerry Hill's office. Thank you for being here, Joan. I got a call from Senator Hill today. He wished us well and sends his regards, but he's working for us in Sacramento right now. So thank you for being here. And then I also see former council member and mayor in the back, Jeff G. Please stand up. And do we have any former Redwood City mayors here as well? I'd like to welcome Belmont Mayor Davina Hurt. Thank you for being here. And then we have several department heads in the audience. I saw Terrence Kaw from our Public Works Department. TK, are you here? Please stand up. Thank you. Stan Maupin, our Fire Chief. Chris Beth, our Parks and Recreation Director. Stephen Turner, our Acting Community Development Director. Kimber McCarthy, our Assistant City Manager. Dan Mulholland, our Police Chief. And Derek Wolf Graham, our Library Director. Did I miss anyone? Great. So that was the order in which I saw you come in, so thank you for being here as well. All right, the State of the City Address is our annual opportunity to pause, celebrate the progress that we've made towards our strategic initiatives, and provide a look ahead at the year in front of us. The City Council's adopted 7 strategic priorities are community building and communication, community for all ages, economic development, government operations, housing, public safety, and transportation. These 7 initiatives provide the framework for furthering the city's mission of building a great community together. Tonight, we will first review a video of the various accomplishments, and then my colleagues on the City Council and I will share our priorities for the coming year. So in case you're not aware, most cities just do this with the mayor. Sometimes they do it with the vice mayor. All 7 of us will participate in tonight's speech. I'd like to ask our staff to start the video by looking back at our accomplishments over the last year. Right, thank you. Wasn't that a nice video? You're welcome to clap. And of course, that video highlighted all of the great work of our staff over the last year. And I want to acknowledge our city manager, Melissa Stevenson Diaz, who leads our staff, as well as our city attorney, Veronica Ramirez, who keeps us legally compliant, and our city clerk. She's the one who runs these meetings. So thank you for your hard work as well. All right, building on our accomplishments and our address to a number of the community challenges ahead, the City Council selected 3 focus areas for the coming year. So we did this at our offsite on February 9th. We talked about our 7 strategic initiatives, and we said some of these really need to rise to the top so that we can prioritize and we can help our staff focus on the year ahead. The city will continue to make progress on all 7 strategic initiatives. However, the City Council selected 3 priority areas to ensure more emphasis on these themes. The City Council's top 3 priorities for this year are housing, transportation, and children and youth. Tonight's State of the City address will speak to these 3 focus areas in particular. I'd now like to turn this over to Vice Mayor Howard and Councilmembers Mazur and Reddy, who will share details of our first priority, housing. Vice Mayor Howard.
Thank you, Mayor Bain. Last year, in partnership with the County of San Mateo and Home for All, we embarked on a series of conversations on housing. They were informative and served as the catalyst for a number of city initiatives regarding housing for all in our community. We would like to share our short-term, mid-term, and long-term efforts to provide housing for all of our residents. I will be discussing the city's new housing policies and the planning for a landlord engagement event. My colleagues, Council Member Shelley Mazur and Council Member Diana Reddy, will be discussing midterm and long-term efforts like streamlining our accessory dwelling unit ordinance to build more in-law units, preserving and rehabilitating existing affordable housing in the community, seeking additional funding for affordable housing, and building more affordable housing. In the short term, the city is focused on implementing several new housing policies, such as the city's inclusionary housing policy, which requires a percentage of new construction to be affordable and generates additional funds for affordable housing in our community. In addition, City Council approved new rental protections to address housing challenges facing our community members who rent, including minimum rental lease terms and requiring relocation assistance under certain situations. We know that there are many challenges related to rental housing in the Bay Area right now. We have heard from many members of our community about the challenges they face. We are assessing the impact of our recent regulations, and we are actively looking at what else we can do for people who need our help. We are also planning a landlord property owner engagement event this May. We want to find opportunities for landlords and property owners to support the city's goal of retaining and expanding affordable rental units in Redwood City. Last week, the City Council received a report on the many ways the city is supporting homeless residents. We want to do more and have given staff the go-ahead to develop new programs to help homeless people develop job skills and to help residents find housing. The city also recently created a new housing resource guide to connect our community with needed housing assistance. We are working on several ways to get this information out into the hands of those in our community that need our help. We're continuing to explore new ways to support our community's housing needs in the short term, but to speak about our midterm approach, I would like to turn it over to Councilwoman Shelley Mazur.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Howard. And before I start, I did also want to thank our Housing and Human Concerns Commission. I know many members are here tonight because all of the work that council is doing is also being heavily supported by the work that our Housing and Human Concerns are doing, as well as many of our other commissioners. So big thanks to those of you who are here or who are watching us at home. So, as you heard, we worked with the Home for All initiative to host community conversations. And building on what we heard from the community during and after those conversations, we're pursuing several midterm activities to preserve existing affordable housing and to implement solutions suggested by our community members, including increasing the diversity of housing options, preserving existing affordable housing, and seeking new funding to support affordable housing. One way we are working to increase the diversity of our housing supply is by making it easier to build accessory dwelling units that fit into our neighborhoods. Common names for ADUs are in-law units, secondary units, backyard cottage. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the term, it really is just a smaller living unit on a property that has a single-family residence, and it is complete with its own kitchen and bathroom facilities. As you heard last year, the City Council approved several steps to streamline the process to create ADUs. This year, we're looking at new ways to make the process even simpler and less expensive, and we're continuing to seek community input on how they fit into our different neighborhoods. We feel that this is a way to preserve more existing affordable housing and protect our residents. Additionally, we're looking at minimizing displacement as another midterm solution. The city is helping to rehabilitate and preserve over 150 affordable housing units in Redwood City. Just to name a few, the Rowlson Road Apartments, major rehabilitation of a 55-unit apartment complex, you can see here on the screen. 780 Bradford Street, just a couple blocks away, a St. Francis Center project with funding support of Stanford University, is a rehabilitation project supporting 25 units of affordable housing. And what many of us in the city have been waiting for, the Hallmark Apartments rebuild. Yes, I can hear in the crowd, and I'm sure at home people are thinking, oh, thank goodness, it's finally happening. They have recently received a tax credit to fund the rebuilding of a 72-unit affordable housing apartment complex, and will be very happy when families can move back into the Hallmark house. In addition, we'll be continuing to seek additional funding for affordable housing. We know that there are new state funding and new local affordable housing created by local tech companies and other partners. The city will be exploring ways to gain additional funding to support more affordable housing projects in Redwood City. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Councilmember Reddy to discuss our long-term housing priorities.
Thank you, Councilmember Mazur. To truly make a difference in Redwood City, we need to build more affordable housing to support housing for all in our community. The city is requiring developer fees to help fund new affordable housing, and is requiring more affordable housing units to be built when new market rate housing developments are approved. The city is also generating hotel tax funds created by short-term housing agreements like Airbnb to support more affordable housing. And this creative solution is currently being examined by other by other local cities, which I'm really proud of. The city recently took a major step toward the building of more affordable housing by dedicating $6 million of affordable housing funds to advance key housing projects. These new projects include 353 Main with 125 units for low and very low income residents. 707 Bradford Street, a city property which the city dedicated to become an affordable housing site with 117 units for very low-income seniors. The Habitat for Humanity project at 707 Jefferson Avenue with 24 purchase condos for low-income families. This is a very big deal, having 4 purchase condos for low-income families. Gray Star 4 at 1409 El Camino Real is a mix of 350 market rate units and 35 units for low-income residents. Additionally, we will continue to seek federal funds to support nonprofit work in the community focused on housing and support with homeless residents. Very few communities in the county are eligible for federal CDBG and home funds, which help us better serve homeless residents and preserve and produce affordable housing and more. Organizations funded through CDBG funds this year that help us serve homeless residents and preserve and produce affordable housing include CORA and HIP Housing, Life Moves, Rebuilding Together Peninsula, Samaritan House, and Star Vista. To those agencies working on the city's behalf, thank you for all you do. You are doing amazing work for the city and to our most vulnerable residents. Our top priority for the coming year is increasing housing and creating housing stability for all in our community. We will continue to focus on limiting displacement of existing residents, exploring new approaches of support for our homeless community, preserving already affordable housing, and building more affordable housing. I would like to now turn this over to Councilmember Alicia Aguirre to speak to the City Council's second priority, transportation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Reddy. Well, when we have a lot of housing, the next issue that's huge is transportation. It's not only a local issue, but it's also a regional issue. And when we talk to our community members, that's the one that we hear a lot with the traffic, with how do we move folks around in the various formats that we do. So we're looking at a wide range of opportunities and initiatives to move between Redwood City and beyond. And we have to really work together in coordination with our regional transportation partners and a lot of our advocacy groups that are helping us work on all of these issues. But some of the key areas that I'm going to focus on are, first of all, the Redwood City Ferry service that we've been working on. I know Councilmember Howard's been working on that for a long time, and being able to move folks on the water, which is not something new. Many other cities have done that, but we're really looking at how we can best do that to connect folks on the East Bay. We're the southernmost hub of San Francisco, and we're working on a feasibility study to evaluate what it would cost, the ridership, and what are some of the factors in this project. This would service not only Redwood City, but as I mentioned, San Francisco and the East Bay. The other one that we've been talking a lot about is the managed lane projects, and this would add a lane between Whipple Avenue and 380 both ways, and it would be an express lane, and this would be to alleviate traffic. It would be an express lane that would be for toll, and that's something that's being worked on. So if you're driving on 101 at Whipple, the lane that is the carpool lane stops. And so we've got to pick that one up and then take it towards San Francisco. And then San Francisco is working with MTC and other organizations to continue to move it all the way to San Francisco. So it's a piece by piece, but it's also a regional issue that we really need to focus on. There are a lot of other rail projects that we're looking at as alternative commuter options on the peninsula. One is Caltrain electrification. I'm sure you've heard a lot about that, high-speed rail. And then we're also looking at the southern part that joins the city, not only our city, but the east part of our city, but is Dumbarton Rail Project, which is an important one that connects. Again, when you think of all these projects, the citizens or the residents of Redwood City take all these roads. They don't just stay within our boundaries, so it's important to look at these things regionally. We're looking to work with employers as well, and how do we move folks around in our city or move them to their homes by creating a transportation demand management plan. And this is allowing folks to really establish different modes of transportation, not just being in the car. With the Transportation Management Association, it would provide employer-supported transportation services with its specific areas. Some of our employers are already doing that. They do that regionally as well. Stanford is doing that as well. And stretching as far south to be able to Sunnyvale to reduce the employer-generated traffic that we have. So as we've mentioned, housing is our number one. Transportation is huge as we move forward. Now I'd like to ask Councilmember Borgens to share what Redwood City is doing to help ease congestion and getting around on bike, by car, and by transit.
Thank you, Councilmember Gary. It's no secret that with successes come challenges, and those challenges are more aptly seen in our neighborhoods. Those of us that live in Redwood City are quite aware of the impacts to our individual neighborhoods when it comes to the growth of our community. And a lot of that has to do with the transportation and the automobiles and pedestrian safety and bicycle safety that are traversing through our neighborhoods. So what are we doing, and how are we doing? We're investing in critical transportation projects that support efficient and safe travel. We have engaged our neighborhoods association to help us locate and identify which neighborhoods really need that attention right now, which ones rise to the top when it comes to safety and security. And we take those seriously. We provide funding to help go out and reestablish safe pedestrian crossings. I'm sure you've seen some of those, the new sidewalk crossings that are much more visible, bicycle safety lanes for those that are traversing through our neighborhood on bikes. And then again, the narrowing of lanes, which isn't always my favorite, but definitely does slow traffic down. So it is another safety factor, and I think it does work for the safety of our neighborhoods. I want to thank the Complete Street Advisory Committee. I think they have done a stellar job in helping us identify what those needs are and reaching out to the different neighborhoods and bringing those to our attention. So I do thank them for that. We continue to explore option for regional bike share programs and the new technologies that are out there, including the regional bike share networks along the Caltrain corridor. It will be an important addition. In the coming year, the city will move forward with key projects, including the U.S. Highway 101 pedestrian undercrossing. We are all waiting for that. It's been a long time coming. And with our new neighborhood, the Bear Island neighborhood, we want to be able to have them get to downtown without having to get back in their car and get over on Whipple Avenue. This way they can actually get downtown, walking, biking, however they choose to, but under the 101. So it'll be a great addition. It is going to happen. It is going to happen. In my lifetime, it's going to happen. US 101 84 interchange, this project has been a long time coming. It's just the funding piece that has to come together. The designs have been chosen, and we're moving forward with that project. It will be a big undertaking, but it is absolutely necessary. How many in this room don't believe that we need the 101 Woodside Road changed and upgraded? We all believe that we need that, but be ready for a little disruption and just keep focused on the fact that it is going to be great. It is going to be much better in safety, much better in the way we get people to our downtown, much better of crossing. There won't be so much congestion in that area. Go online, check it out. You will be pleasantly pleased to see how far we've come. The Middlefield Route improvements and utility undergrounding, if I'm not mistaken, I remember sitting out in the audience many years ago when our Mayor Bain actually brought this idea to the council about undergrounding the utilities on Middlefield Road. It's happening. It's going to be a great project when it is improved. Again, when it starts, you will see some disruption. Every time you see that, know something good is coming. So just try to breathe through it. It'll be great. You have seen some of the safety features we've already done on Middlefield and Woodside Road. It is much safer to cross from east to west or north to south, however you choose your map to go, on Middlefield going from one side of Woodside Road to the other side. It is much safer for North Fair Oaks to cross and get into our downtown. It's much more safer for Redwood Village residents. I see lots of children crossing there, and I feel very proud when I'm at that stoplight and realizing it's being utilized by children and families, and it's much safer. So I'm glad that we've done that. We're going to have, we're studying the transit center next to Sequoia Station and designing several alternatives to make it easier to walk there. Improving the bus drop-off spots. I think that will be a great partnership with Caltrans doing that. And the city will be seeking community input on that project, so watch out for that. The Whipple grade separation, how many are ready for that? We are ready for that. Yes, hands up. Yes, we are ready for that. It will happen. Again, a little disruption, but it'll be great when it happens. If you remember when Jefferson Avenue, it was grade separation. We went through a lot of angst then, but look how wonderful it is today. That will just be as wonderful when that happens, and much safer for those that need to go back and forth in that part of town. So we've come a long way. We will be also securing the opportunities for enforcing the neighborhood in our parking issues throughout our neighborhood. A lot of parking permits have been requested, and we're looking at making your neighborhood the best it can be. So be a partner with us as we move forward with ideas, concerns you have, any suggestions you may have. No suggestion is a bad one, so please bring it to us so we can at least study it. So I look forward to that. It's exciting to work to make our community safer for all, safer for those in your cars, those on bikes, pedestrians, seniors, children's, all of children's. You love that word, children's. It's safer for all of us. So I'm looking forward as we move forward with all the great things that have come before us, and I look at you as being a partner in that. I'll now turn it over to Councilmember Hale to discuss the city's third priority, children and youth.
The children's.
Children.
Thank you.
You're right.
Thank you.
Children are youth.
Thank you, Councilmember Borgens. Well, I am delighted to share details about our third priority, children and youth. Did you know that in the 2010 census, the largest demographic in Redwood City was children under the age of 14? But it's really not surprising when you think about it. Redwood City has always been an incredible place to raise a family and to grow up. But families today are experiencing some new challenges, some of which relate to the first two priorities, but some of which are unique. For example, the Insight Center for Community Development Impact recently reported that the cost of childcare in Redwood City has gone up 41% in the past 4 years. As a city council, we are working to address the needs of children, youth, and families, starting with childcare. Last year, the city held a hackathon, a childcare hackathon. I believe it was held by council members Howard and Mazer, in partnership with Redwood City 2020, our schools, the county, and childcare providers. We are now following up on the ideas generated by that hackathon to ultimately increase the number of quality childcare seats in our city. As a result, we now have multiple childcare projects in the planning stages. And over the next 5 years, I'm excited to report these projects are expected to create 500 new childcare spaces here in Redwood City. Upcoming projects include the Stanford in Redwood City, the Bradford Street project, the Broadway Plaza project, 1601 El Camino, and Middlefield Junction. And many of these projects include childcare because it was something that you wanted and we asked for. We heard that knowing where to find childcare is also an issue for parents. So the city recently launched an interactive map, you can see there, of childcare and preschool centers. It's easy to use, it's free, and it's available on our website, redwoodcity.org. Second, we acknowledge that our community is experiencing challenges associated with the recent decision to consolidate elementary schools, and we are actively exploring ways to assist families and to collaborate with the Redwood City School District and the school board. And I see Board Member Lawson with us this evening. Thank you for joining us. So please look for more to come on that topic. We're also engaged with the collaborative group Redwood City 2020 on ensuring all children can have safe routes to school, wherever their school may be. We recognize the importance of educational excellence across the community, which is why we continue to collaborate on a range of issues in committees consisting of 2 council members and 2 school board members with all of the school districts in our community, the Redwood City School District, the Belmont Redwood Shores School District, and the Sequoia Union High School District. And finally, in addition to the 30 parks and 8 libraries the city operates, we have heard the community ask for more family fun options and more open space. And I want to share a few exciting updates and highlights of what's to come. First, we are continuing work on a downtown park. We're looking at 3 sites in the downtown to create a large linear park that would extend from the downtown to the bay. Second, we'll be opening the Magical Bridge Playground later this winter. Magical Bridge is a world-renowned playground that is inviting to all, including our autistic population, those with cognitive and physical challenges, and those with visual and hearing impacts. Third, we'll be opening the Pirate Ship Imaginative Art Area in response to community feedback we have heard to have an outdoor playground adjacent to the Redwood Shores Library. The Pirate Ship will be an interactive play structure enclosed by fencing and connected to the children's area of the Redwood Shores Library, and it'll open in this coming year. And fourth, we are piloting temporary family fun venues like putting around downtown. If you haven't tried it yet, It will be open through the end of the month, which is a pop-up mini golf course, and it's open in Courthouse Square. And finally, we are actively talking with developers about including family fun options like bowling, skating, or mini golf in the ground floor of projects. So in closing, the children really are our future. And when we make the city better for them, we invest in an equitable, sustainable, and vibrant Redwood city of the future. And now I will turn it over to Mayor Bain to discuss the other priorities for the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hale. And thank you to all of my colleagues for outlining what we're doing in the coming year and going forward. As a city council, we look forward to collaborating with our city manager and staff on moving a number of things forward over the next year, but I really want to recognize a couple of other groups that are essential to our success as well. Our boards, committees, and commission members, many of whom are here tonight, too many to name. I want to thank you for volunteering countless hours to help us process a lot of the policy issues before they come to the council. And I also want to thank our neighborhood chairs. These, again, are volunteers who are trying to build community on the local level, and it's really beginning to pay off. Some of you actually wear more than one hat, so if you're doing that, I appreciate that. We have, between those two groups, about 100 people, and I send a monthly letter to those volunteers to thank them for their service and also talk about things that we're doing as a city. We will face many challenges not only over the next year, but the years ahead. We have several very large developments that are either in process right now or looming on the horizon. You heard Councilmember Borgens talk about disruption. We're going to have quite a bit of that in the coming years. Some of these developments will bring benefits, but they're also going to bring impacts for a city that we have to plan for. We have to plan for the threat of sea level rise. We have to think about the future and figure out what we want to allow in which area. And to that end, we have established a new council sea level rise committee that will work very closely with the county to coordinate on efforts between the two. We have to be wary of well-intentioned state laws. We have seen time and again how many well-meaning lawmakers in Sacramento, no disrespect to our representatives who are here today, have passed laws with unintended local consequences. I expect that we will see some of those laws in the coming years. We have to keep working on pension liabilities. These present a long-term threat to the financial health of our city, and we must continue to aggressively pay these down, in part because of the laws I just mentioned. And we must be vigilant to protect our community from those who seek to divide us. Our diversity is our strength, and we must continue to celebrate that. But no one should underestimate the strength of our community or the people in it. Our community is very strong, and our council is committed to being a model for how government can and should work. In the area of governance, there are several things we're doing to plan for our city's future. During our offsite, we identified the need to develop a strategic plan which will guide our staff's work even more closely in the coming years. A council subcommittee has volunteered to work on drafting this in the coming months. Making updates to the city's general plan, we need to do this going forward to ensure that it meets our needs for years to come. We passed our general plan in 2010, but we are already starting to see some strain on certain parts of our plan, so we're going to look at doing an update there. And later this year, we're going to begin a visioning process to really bring the community into the process of looking what our built environment will look like for the next 10 years. Developing good governance practices to ensure that our city councils of the future continue to meet the needs of the entire community. As many of you know, we are moving to district elections, and we'll have to make sure that as such, we're looking at how the mayor and the vice mayor are selected. We'll be looking at a rotation policy for those positions, and a future council may choose to do direct election of the mayor. We will also be redrawing our districts in 2 years, which will be a challenge for us, but I believe many council members have expressed having a citizens committee, to get involved in that. So hopefully some of you will volunteer for that committee. We're also going to take a look at campaign finance laws on the local level to ensure that every candidate running for a district seat has a competitive chance of winning. The city is working to become more environmentally friendly, and we must continue to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. We are in the process of updating our climate action plan, which was first passed in 2013, to include the role of new technologies such as heat pumps that use electricity instead of natural gas. In terms of public safety, we're enhancing public safety through strong partnerships with our schools, mental health training for police and staff, and wildfire prevention efforts. We continue to host citizens police academies in both English and Spanish to ensure that our community understands the important work that our police officers do. And we're partnering with the county on our emergency preparedness efforts. And next week, we'll vote on a contract with the county to provide joint services for our CERT position. In terms of communication and community building, there's a lot we're doing there. We're continuing to support community engagement efforts through the neighborhood associations. And our neighborhood leaders recently met with leaders at Nextdoor to try to continue to bring the online and the offline world together and build community. Many of you may be familiar with PACT, which was our effort to bring people into the city and have them understand how city departments work. We're currently seeking a grant to bring that program back, and we hope that people who haven't participated in that will participate in that program. And with respect to communication, we're going to continue to explore ways to reach people through a variety of means, including expansion of text-based communication, and continue to explore ways to reach people the way that they like to do business. Building on our strong history of financial management, which you saw some of the highlights there, we're going to develop a 10-year forecast to provide longer-term roadmap for financial stability. We're exploring the feasibility of a 2-year budget cycle in order to create efficiencies in the budget development process. In order to bring the community into the budgeting process, we will be holding a community workshop on April 10th regarding the city's finances. So if you're interested in understanding how our budget works and providing some input, please come to that. We're going to be implementing OpenGov, which is an online platform that will provide much more detailed and transparent budgeting information, performance metrics, and trends to community members, more information than we've ever been able to provide before. We're assessing the city's fiscal health using a League of Cities diagnostic tool. We're engaging the Government Finance Officers Association to review the city's financial processes and procedures, and we're exploring the option of an accelerated payoff timeframe for our pension obligations. So in closing, I'd like to say thank you for joining us. I'd like to encourage the community to stay connected throughout the year by attending our council meetings, signing up for your neighborhood associations, signing up for the city's electronic newsletters, and staying connected via social media, including Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Nextdoor, and Twitter. As I said last year, the state of the city isn't just about the city government. It's about the entire community. It's about our businesses, our nonprofits, our faith communities. It's about people who are doing well, and it's about people who are struggling. And it's about coming together as a community and helping our city be the best it can be. And I continue to remain optimistic about our city's and our community's future. On behalf of the City Council and the city staff, I'd like to thank you for coming tonight. Let's continue to build a great community together. Thank you. So with that, if for those of you who are in person, there should still be some food and refreshments in the lobby. And for those of you who watch online or at home, thank you very much for watching. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Borgen, second by Councilmember Hill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.